Welcome to another edition of Through the Mirror with Larry Sinclair. This evening, speaking with Dr. Walter Block, Ph.D., founding member Jews for Ron Paul. Dr. Block is at the Harold E. Worth Eminence, or is the Harold E. Worth Eminence Scholar, Endowed Chair, and Professor of Economics. He's at Loyola University in New Orleans. And Dr. Block, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be with you.
You know, I've had different spokespeople and supporters of Ron Paul on now for 8 consecutive programs. And today makes it a little interesting because I've asked all of our guests recently if you feel the GOP has somehow made a mistake by dismissing Dr. Paul and his supporters.
Oh, yes, I certainly do think they've made a mistake, a gigantic mistake. I think Ron Paul has got a better shot at Obama than Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney is well known as Mr. Weather Vane, and whichever way the wind blows, he goes. So you really don't know what you're going to get when you get him. Whereas Ron Paul is clear as a bell as to what he stands for. He's been pretty consistent over these many years, many decades, I should say. And also, Ron Paul can peel away in a way that Mitt Romney cannot from Obama the young people, the youth vote. I mean, he goes to college campuses and he gets 15,000, 20,000 people listening to him. That's the demographic that Mitt Romney can't get and Obama used to have, and will keep if he's against Romney, but will not keep if he's against Paul.
Do you think that's a reason that Obama has recently been seen giving speeches at college campuses from Iowa to North Carolina to Colorado to Wisconsin?
Well, I'm not really sure. I don't know if he sees Ron Paul as just a gadfly, something to ignore, or because he thinks that the young people are not with him anymore. I really don't know what's on Obama's mind, but I wouldn't be too surprised if he was playing it cagey, because he will have to possibly have to face Ron Paul and not Mitt Romney. I mean, what's his name? Santorum has left, and it looks as if Newt Gingrich is about to leave, and that leaves there are only 2 standing, and that leaves Mitt and Ron.
And that's something I wanted to ask you about, because effectively today the GOP has announced that that Mitt Romney is in fact the presumptive nominee. And what's interesting is just before we came on the program today, I noticed that they were talking about the fact that the GOP are talking about Newt Gingrich conceding today, and the fact that Rick Santorum's conceded but still has a difficult time, coming to terms with actually endorsing Romney. But what is significantly absent from this conversation is no one seems to be talking about the fact that Ron Paul is still engaged in this nomination race.
Well, they've been ignoring Ron Paul the whole election cycle, so that's no surprise. But Mitt Romney has been the presumptive winner for months now. I don't think he's now, just today, because of the exit of Newt, the presumptive nominee. No.
He
has been.
Well, no. What I was saying was the GOP, the national RNC, has actually come out today and stood there and said, and that's.
They said that. Okay, fair enough.
Right.
But that's not true. Ron Paul was a high school and college track athlete, and he won many a race where at the halfway point he was not in the lead. Mitt needs 1,144 delegates, and he doesn't have them yet. And you see, the way the RNC and the Real Clear Politics and all the major media count it is they they give Mitt all the delegates, say, from Florida, where it was winner take all, and that's fair. But then, for the others, what they do is they assign delegates in proportion to the votes. And Mitt has got many more votes than Ron, and so Mitt has got 10 times the number of delegates of Ron. I think it's something like 660, or it was a few days ago, before last Tuesday. But this is silly. A lot of these delegates have not yet been picked. So how does anyone know which way it's going to go? And my understanding is that Ron just won Iowa. and he also won Minnesota. And these are places where the vote was not in his favor. He came in second or third or fourth. I forget which in which state, but the delegates are the key. And,
right.
And
Texas is coming up.
Oh yes, Texas is coming up, and they had this wonderful ad with an announcer with a Texas twang. You're going to vote for the pinko from Massachusetts, or you're going to go vote for the space cadet from Georgia, or you're going to vote for a real Texan, namely Ron Paul. And I think Ron is going to do pretty well in Texas, and Texas is a big state. Unfortunately, it's not winner take all, because I think Ron is going to beat him there, but it's proportional, and even if Mitt beats him in the popular vote, Ron can still beat him in the delegates, and that's the way it counts.
Well, let me ask you something. On the bottom of your email, it says, "It is no crime to be ignorant of economics, which is, after all, a specialized discipline and one that most people consider to be a dismal science. But it is totally irresponsible to have a loud and ferocious opinion on economic subjects while remaining ignorant in the state, while remaining in this state of ignorance." Everybody keeps pumping up Mitt Romney, saying that Mitt Romney is the candidate that can deal with the economy and the economic issues of our nation at this time. Why is it that everybody seems to think that Mitt Romney can do better on the economy than Dr. Paul?
Well, I don't think everybody thinks that. The Ron Paul supporters, among whom I list myself, don't think that at all. I see the cause of our depression or super-duper recession as the Fed. And Ron, in his heart of hearts, wants to get rid of the Fed. He's only compromised by saying, well, we should audit the Fed. And Mitt Romney is not an anti-Fed person. Another cause of our economic debacle is our, the fact that we spend more money, our deficit. We spend more money than we take in. And a lot of that is due to the foreign wars. And Ron Paul wants to bring the troops home. And Mitt Romney wants to, nuke China. I'm not sure about that. But, he keeps talking about how China is bad because they're playing fast and loose with their currency and making it such that they can export more stuff to us. Well, first of all, that's wrong. The U.S. is doing it more than China. Second, even if it were true, this would be to our benefit. If China is selling us goods at cut-rate prices, they're our buddies. They're our benefactors. So he doesn't really understand economics. He might have been a businessman, but businessmen may have a loud and vociferous view about things, but they don't understand economics. Also, he favors the minimum wage law. The minimum wage law, as far as I'm concerned, is the main reason why the unemployment rate for young black men is quadruple the overall unemployment rate of about 10%. So I don't think Mitt Romney understands the first thing about economics. He talks good economics, and compared to Obama, I would pick Romney over Obama on economics. I mean, Obama's just an out-and-out socialist, whereas Romney, I was going to say whereas Romney isn't, but I'm not sure whether he is or not, because, as I say, he's a weather vane. He was a socialist in Massachusetts. He started Romney Care, which is pretty indistinguishable from Obamacare, and that's just socialized medicine. So I see, when they run various candidates against Obama, there are only two people in the same league with Obama, and that's Ron Paul and Mitt Romney. Newt and Santorum, when registered against Obama, came in way behind him. So I think Ron has got, if he can only win the Republican nomination, I think he's going to really run away from Obama in the election, because a lot of Obama supporters are very disaffected from him. They voted for a peace candidate, and Obama's a warmonger, just like Romney and just like Bush. So I think that if Paul can just get the nomination, he can smear Obama.
Well, here's something. You, and please, I don't want to phrase this the wrong way. You are a Jewish gentleman who supports Ron Paul.
Yes.
And Ron Paul has been portrayed by some in the mainstream media and by some in the GOP establishment, I might add, as being anti-Semitic or anti-Israel. I personally do not believe that to be the case. especially considering some of the things that Dr. Paul has recently explained in rallies in Fort Worth, Texas. How do you, or do you better, when we come back from this commercial, I'll have that question phrased because I just got a brain freeze, and please forgive me. But when we come back, we're talking with Dr. Walter Block, founder of Jews for Ron Paul. You are listening to Through the Mirror with Larry Sinclair on the Rense Radio Network. We will be right back.
If you're taking 1, 2, 5, or more nutritional supplements, please stop. Simplify your supplementation with Bio Superfood, the most advanced nutritional whole food supplement you can buy. Men, women, children, even Olympic athletes the world over have discovered Bio Superfood from BioAge.com. And now take just one nutritional supplement instead of many. The Bio Superfood formulas are whole food products composed with 4 of the most nutrient-dense algae found on Earth. Bio Superfood for the brain helps with focus, memory, clarity, and mood. If you can increase brain health, the rest of the body is a no-brainer. Bio Superfood has 0 toxicity and is safe for you and your family. Learn more and order your Bio Superfood formulas at BioAge.com, spelled BIOAGE.com, BioAge.com, or call 877-288-9116. That's 877-288-9116. BioAge, the age of advanced organics.
Oxygen. It's nature's oldest therapy and plays an essential role in destroying viruses, bacteria, mold, yeast, and fungus, and keeping the human body healthy and strong. Now, you can give your body and your immune system a mega boost of disease-fighting oxygen with all-natural Oxy-C. With so many people now leading a sedentary indoor lifestyle, most are in a chronic state of oxygen deprivation, which sets up a perfect environment for disease, general fatigue, and a host of other symptoms. Oxy-C is yours in simple, convenient capsules. Nothing to mix, nothing to hassle with. Take it with juice or water anytime. Feel a cold or flu approaching? Have no energy or spark anymore? Try all-natural Oxy-C and prepare to be amazed. Oxy-C is only available from New Earth Health Solutions at Rense.com. Look for the New Earth banner at Rense.com.
Paul Drochten's thousands of happy, satisfied customers have earned him the deserved reputation as one of the most trusted and respected names in the critically important field of silver investing. In fact, Paul has been recommending buying precious metals since silver was only $2.90 an ounce, back when gold was under $300. Paul accurately predicted the stock market collapse of 2001 and 2 and helped make his clients millions in precious metals. In 2007 and 8, Paul Drochten warned of a major economic collapse, and again, he was right on the mark. Paul was also a firm believer in helping real estate investors convert to precious metals before the real estate market crashed and burned. And again, many of his clients prospered. His wisdom and current recommendation continues to be that people should buy silver because it is simply the most undervalued asset in the world. Call for a free consultation, 330-636-6292, or email Paul at pdrochten@aol.com.
And we're back. Before we went to commercial, Dr. Block, I started to ask you, what is your opinion? Why is it and how is it that the media and some in the GOP establishment has had this effort afoot to portray Dr. Paul as being some in some way anti-Semitic or anti-Israel?
Well, if you can't, there's that joke told to lawyers: if you can't win on the law, then work on the facts. If you can't work on the facts, then work on the law. If you're wrong on the law and the facts, scream. Well, scream to the jury. That's supposed to be a joke. I guess it's not that funny.
Well, no. Actually, I catch it and I understand it. But look, it's one thing to be screaming, but they've managed to use this to the detriment of Paul, or at least to justify their inability to cover Dr. Paul fairly, in the same sense that they have, say, any of the other candidates in this field in this election cycle.
Well, you're quite right. And what I would say is that they can't win on economics. Ron Paul's got them on economics. They can't win on foreign policy because we're an imperialist nation, and Ron is pointing this out. The emperor has no clothes. They can't win on personal liberties either, so they scream. And what is the form of their screaming? They call him a racist. They call him an old man. They call him an anti-Semite. Whatever they can do, they scream. Now, let me address the screaming of anti-Semitism, since that's what you brought up. And I've got various points to make to refute that claim. First of all, I'm Jewish. Ron knows that I'm Jewish. I've known him for 40 years now. Boy, time goes by. He's been friendly to me. He and I we hug. We have dinner together. I've had many a conversation with him, dinner. I've attended conferences with him in the 70s and the 80s. We were both into the gold movement. And I have very good QDAR ability to tell an anti-Semite at 10 paces or at 100 paces, and I haven't sniffed any scintilla of that. Second bit of evidence. Who are Ron Paul's two heroes of political economy? Two Jews, Murray Rothbard and Ludwig von Mises. Now, what kind of a self-respecting anti-Semite publicly says and brags about the fact that his greatest heroes in political economy are two Jewish scholars? I mean, that alone ought to do it. But there's more. There's plenty more.
Okay.
They say, well, since he wants to stop all foreign aid, he wants to stop foreign aid to Israel. Well, that's true. He wants to stop foreign aid to Israel. But the point is that if you add up all the Arab and Muslim countries, they get roughly 5 times as much as Israel. So if you assume that the U.S. government is now giving 5 times as much to Israel's enemies as it is giving to Israel, and it stops all, well, it hurts Israel, but it hurts the others even more. So relatively speaking, it helps Israel. I mean, isn't that point clear? That if they're giving more to Israel's enemies than to Israel itself, and they stop all the giving, that is all the government-to-government giving, then they would help Israel. And obviously, the money from the Jewish community, private donations, would still continue. There's a lot more Jewish donations from the U.S. Than Arab donations to the Arab countries from the U.S. So Israel would do much better. Then take a whole bunch. He who pays the piper plays the tune or chooses the tune. When the U.S. picks the piper or pays the piper, they choose the tune. What happened in the Suez? In 1956, Israel owned the Suez, the entire peninsula, and Eisenhower forced them to give it back. I mean, you talk about land for peace. I mean, the Suez is 10 times bigger than Israel? It's true, it's a desert, but still, it's a lot of land, and they forced them to give it back. Then there was, what's that black lady in the bush, the foreign person?
Condoleezza Rice?
Condoleezza Rice was telling him not to take out the Syrian nuclear facilities. And Obama's saying that the negotiations should start with the Green Line. Now, who the hell is he to say that? The point is that in many, many ways, the U.S. undermines Israel, and Ron Paul keeps talking about Israeli sovereignty. So much so that a lot of the devout Christians who were very pro-Israel, they picked Santorum, they saw him leave, they were going to look at Newt Gingrich, although I can't see why devout Christians who love Israel would look at Gingrich, given his personal
Dr.
now-
Block.
Yeah.
Dr. Block, I'm sorry to cut you off. Is there a way that we can actually call you at your office? Are you in your office? Because
Yeah.
your cell phone connection is really bad.
Is this better now? And
Yeah,
I'm not on a cell phone. I'm on a landline.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind then.
Okay. Is this better? I just juiced it up a bit.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds better. But go ahead. You were saying that the Christians should getting behind Gingrich as far as supporting Israel.
Well, I mean, Gingrich has his personal problems. He's got 16 wives and all that. I'm exaggerating slightly here. And he has all these personal problems where he violates Christian tenets. Whereas Ron Paul has been married to the same woman for, 55 years? And there's never been any scandal or anything like that. These devout Christians, born-again Christians, are now looking seriously at Ron Paul.
Right. Well, we're going to our next commercial break. We're going to continue our conversation with Dr. Walter Block. In the meantime, anyone who wants to get additional information on Dr. Block can go to walterblock.com. You're listening to Through the Mirror with Larry Sinclair on the Rents Radio Network. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Jeff Rentz. Royal Raymond Rife was without question the most gifted medical scientific genius of our age. He discovered that most disease-related microbes die quickly when exposed to their own specialized resonant radio frequencies. The BCX 411 Rife-type frequency instrument has received the highest praise on several continents for its precision, simplicity of operation, and successful research experiment. The BCX, with its comprehensive manual, allows you to select the frequencies you wish to experiment with for the length of time you want to run them. The BCX handheld plasma ray tubes and RF radio carrier wave, like Rife used, are the absolute state-of-the-art in Rife frequency research. For full information and pictures, take the New Earth link at the top of Rents.com. Settle for nothing but the best in Rife research with the BCX 411. Again, just take the New Earth link at the top left corner of Rents.com. American Masters Painting, a family-owned and operated business beautifying homes in Northern Virginia for over 30 years. American Masters craftsmen serve all of your painting, staining, and wood refinishing needs. American Masters not only guarantees to deliver satisfying results, they also promise a positive, rewarding, and personalized experience to your complete satisfaction. American Masters Painting is recognized for its flawless expertise in all custom interior and exterior projects. For a free and timely estimate, contact American Masters Painting toll-free at 888-760-7760 or visit AmericanMastersPainting.com. And remember, when you're thinking American Masters Painting, you're thinking one family serving another, one project at a time. American Masters Painting is a proud sponsor of Through the Mirror with Larry Sinclair on the Rents Radio Network.
You're listening to the Rents Radio Network, coast to coast on the Galaxy 19 KU band satellite, nationwide and worldwide on the internet, and of course, on Rents.com.
Will 2012 bring the Mayan end of world or the global banking collapse? In 2007, one man, Mike Dillard, made 5 predictions which forecasted the 2008 economic crisis and the pending Eurozone collapse. This week, Mike unleashes 3 brand new, shocking, must-watch videos with predictions for the coming year. www.the3videos.com. Over the past year, Mike Dillard has helped thousands of ordinary people create and recover wealth by tapping into the black box investing strategies the big banks don't want you to know about. www.the3videos.com. As the European banking system implodes and governments collapse at breakneck speeds, the next 12 months will be the most anticipated and important months in modern human history. This will make 2008 look like a walk in the park. Everyone will be affected. Go to www.the3videos.com now. Learn how to prepare your family and prosper during the global financial collapse. When the food collapse happens, if trucks stop delivering food to supermarket shelves tomorrow, what will you do? How well is your family prepared for a food crisis? How long will you survive? Getting a biodome which produces food for you and your family year-round, even in the dead of winter, is easy, cheap, and extremely liberating. Find out how in an all-new webinar at domerevolution.com. Biodome expert Kasper Postavsky shows you the 3 actions you must start taking right now to start preparing your family for food shortages and survive the economic collapse. How to quickly and easily build your own geodesic biodome. DomeRevolution.com. You'll find out how to use aquaponics to literally have an automated food supply which grows you food year-round. How to grow extremely nutrient-dense food and use the secrets of biodynamics to restore completely dead soil. Get prepared. Watch the Biodome webinar. Go to domerevolution.com and sign up now.
And if you want to take Dr. Walter Block's word for it, getting it right is to nominate Dr. Ron Paul, Texas Congressman and GOP candidate for presidential nominee. Is that correct, Dr. Block?
Oh, yes, certainly. I'm a big Ron Paul supporter. I see him as the next best thing to sliced bread, or I don't know what. I think he's great.
Let me ask you something. You're not exactly teaching in the bastions of conservatism.
Could you elaborate on that a little?
Well, you're down in New Orleans, right?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, Loyola's not exactly considered a conservative school by any means, is it?
Oh, I see what you're saying. No, it's a Jesuit school. They believe in social justice. Most of the Jesuits are very socially just, or social justice, or progressive, or what have you. That's true, but our economics department is pretty free enterprise. I'm very happy here. My colleagues and I all are fans of Adam Smith and Hayek and people like that, and Mises and Rothbard.
So you're basically not exactly considered a victim of the school. In other words, you pretty much have the freedom to express your opinions without any flashback from the school itself.
Well, we live in an imperfect world. Nothing is perfect. Other people have their views that are different than mine, but I'm free to express my views. That's true. Yes, we have academic freedom at Loyola University.
What do you gauge the support levels being for Paul in your specific area?
Well, in 2009, long before Ron Paul was Ron Paul, I invited him to speak on campus, and we got the biggest room, and we got several overflow rooms, and we filled them all up, and we must have had 2,000 people at Loyola here to hear him speak. And it's one of my big honors that I was able to bring him to campus, and gave a magnificent lecture. He did it without any teleprompter. Hear that, Mr. Obama. He did it even without any note. I know that because I stood right behind him on the podium, and the podium was empty. He just babbled on for about an hour and 15 minutes about economic freedom and personal liberty and foreign policy. And the only interruptions were standing ovations. Every 2 or 3 minutes there'd be a standing ovation.
Well, I continue to try to actually get him on the program because I know he's definitely quick on his feet.
Oh, yeah.
You know, even in the debates, the man definitely is quick to shoot back, and he's got some really good one-liners, that's for certain. Let me ask you, though, you've got everybody and when I say everybody, I'm referring to everyone in the GOP establishment, even some of the so-called Tea Party groups that claim to be for, limited government, fiscal conservatism, constitutional adherence. They still tend to try to push Dr. Paul out of the picture. And I've noticed it, at least to me personally, it seems like in 2012, they're doing it just a little more forcefully than they did, say, in 2008. Do you feel that way?
Oh, no, I think the very opposite. They might be trying harder now, but I think they're failing more. Look, Ron's numbers, bad as they are compared to Mitt Romney's numbers of votes, are double and triple what he got in 2008. In the last few debates, he actually got some time, although there was one debate we got like 89 seconds after 3 hours. I think they're trying harder now to squelch him because he's much more powerful now than in 2008, but I think they're not succeeding as much. They've had him on Jay Leno. The other comedian is saying that Ron Paul is the 13th floor of politics, and everybody's ignoring him. John, somebody, I forget his name, a great comedian. So I think that he's doing much, much better, and he's harder to ignore. Look, at the beginning there were, 12 candidates? And then there were 10, and then there were 6, and then there were 4, and now there are 2. And
well, I think you...
still standing.
Well, look, I point at pointing out the fact that Paul has probably been the only one that hasn't had a scandal directed at him or even the implication of one.
Yeah.
I know that the numbers for Dr. Paul this year are up as opposed to 2008. I got some photos that were sent from a rally in Pittsburgh where it's predicted that he had estimated that he had rallied close to 75,000 people. And I understand those numbers, and what I meant when I said I think in 2012 they're trying to shut him out, I meant the media and the establishment, I thought, was trying with a little more force than they were in 2008 as far as trying to shut him out.
Yes,
I
misunderstood you. I agree with you entirely. They now see him as a danger, and they want to squelch him even more, and they've done level best to, when he came in third in Iowa, a very, very close third, and when he came in second to that woman, I forget her name, the only woman running for president, came in second to her. And
which one, Clinton?
No, the Republican woman from more in the Midwest.
Oh, Michelle Bachmann.
That's it. Came in second to her, very close second. He was like 0.5% behind, and they ignored him. You're quite right that they are trying desperately to ignore him because he is constitutional. He is for free enterprise. He is really getting back to the roots of conservatism, back to the Ronald Reagan days. That is Ronald Reagan's rhetoric, not what he actually did. So I think that you're quite right that they are trying desperately to ignore him. They're saying that Romney is now the presumptive winner, and even though he doesn't have 1,144. And what Ron Paul said is, look, people can slip. There's many a slip between cup and lip, and who knows what Romney, which foot he'll put in his mouth tomorrow. And he might put a big foot in there, and maybe there'll be something, some scandal that will knock Romney out. And if Romney is knocked out, Ron Paul will be the only one left. I don't know what will happen then, but I think that Ron Paul's got a decent chance to win in Tampa, and we'll just have to wait and see. Look, if he wins in Texas, I think that'll be good. And even, there was something where Romney was the only leader at this time who failed to get 60% in Pennsylvania and Delaware and these other places. Got like in the 50s. And the point is that he can't really unite the entire Republican Party. I admit neither can Ron Paul, but Ron Paul's got a lot of independents and Democrats, whereas Romney wouldn't.
All right, we're coming up on the next commercial, but when we come back, Dr. Block, would you do me a favor? Whatever you just did, in that statement, you came through crystal clear, and earlier you continue to break up. So let's try to do that in the last segment. We'll be right back. You're listening to Through the Mirror with Larry Sinclair. We're talking with Dr. Walter Block, Loyola University. We'll be right back.
Remember this name, Carnivora. That's CARNIVORA.com. What if I told you that this 100% pure and natural product was delivered directly to the White House at President Reagan's personal request at a time when only the president was able to obtain it? Reagan used this amazing product, Carnivora, successfully, a product derived only from nature that has the intelligence to instinctively attack abnormal cells only without harming a single normal cell, and the power to actually wake up critical immune cells from dormancy to attack foreign invaders that don't belong in our bodies. Carnivora is now obtainable by anyone who wants to get healthy and stay that way. Call 1-866-VENUS-FLY and protect yourself with 17 naturally occurring compounds that will unleash powerful immune defense. That's 1-866-VENUS-FLY. Call 1-866-VENUS-FLY and get your Carnivora today. Visit carnivora.com. Did you know that there were more natural disasters in 2011 than in any other year in recorded history? Well, so far 2012 is right on track to beat that deadly record. When disasters happen, grocery store shelves can empty fast. Do you have food put away? You should. People are left without food and then forced to rely on the government in times of emergency. Don't let that happen to you. The wonderful professionals at PrepareWise.com offer delicious, truly delicious, ready-made meals at the best prices available anywhere. Don't be fooled by the more expensive, less convenient, and poorly packaged food storage options out there in the market today. Each meal is packaged for freshness in individual nitrogen-flushed Mylar pouches. These meal pouches are then sealed in stackable, heavy-duty plastic containers that are easy to store, easy to transport, and will not be damaged by water or rodents. Go to preparewise.com/rents for special discounts for all of you listeners. Order today and get free shipping on every single item you buy. Again, go to preparewise.com/rents and get prepared today. Are you prepared for the future? Do you know how to navigate past the upcoming dangers before it's too late and seize budding opportunities before others do? Forecasting worldwide since 1980, Gerald Celente, publisher of the Trends Journal, provides timely and accurate trend forecasts that have earned him the reputation as the most trusted name in trends. The proof is in the hundreds of accurate forecasts Celente has made over the past 30 years. The 1987 stock market crash, the clean food trend, the dot-com bust. The Trends Journal alerts subscribers to early, subtle signs of crucial trends that will shape our future. It allows readers to anticipate change, recognize the implications, and take proactive strategies. Put your money where your mind is with Gerald Celente's brilliant and indispensable Trends Journal. Go to trendsjournal.com or call 845-331-3500. That's 845-331-3500.
And welcome back. We're talking with Dr. Walter Block, who is Jew for Ron Paul, or the founder of Jews for Ron Paul. And Dr. Block, before we went to commercial, you were talking about, and I'm going to let you pick up from there.
I was talking about what? Could you remind me, please?
I think you were talking about the numbers for Ron Paul. Look, here's a question. You're going to continue to support and actively campaign on behalf of Ron Paul throughout the remainder of the nominating process?
Yes, right up to Tampa.
Do you have any plans of attending the convention in Tampa to see if it turns into a brokered convention?
No, I won't be in Tampa. I have other speech-making commitments that are in conflict with that. I get invited to give speeches all over the place, and I usually do that.
What do you think will come of Dr. Paul's position and principles if he's not the GOP nominee? Do you think that his supporters will bite the bullet and vote Romney in an effort to say anything but Obama is better, or do you think that Ron Paul supporters will sit this one out?
No, I think Ron Paul supporters will go and vote for Gary Johnson, who I think will get the nomination for the Libertarian Party. I think Gary Johnson, former governor of New Mexico, certainly endeared himself to me because the one time he was allowed on the Republican debate, all the candidates were asked, who would you pick as your vice president, and he picked Ron Paul. So no one who picks Ron Paul can be all bad. And I've spoken to Gary Johnson. I met him at several Libertarian Party conventions, and I think he's a very good Libertarian. And I think that the Ron Paul people, if Ron Paul bows out after Tampa, will shift their allegiance to the Libertarian Party, and the Libertarian Party, instead of getting its usual 0.5% or 1% of the vote, will get 7, 8, 10, 15%. I don't know, but much, much higher percentage because he favors liberty.
Well, let's bring, I'm glad you brought the Libertarian Party up because I'm sure, or I'm hoping you're aware of the Americans Elect campaign.
Yes, certainly.
Okay, because I know that right now Dr. Paul is one of the drafted nominees on the Americans Elect ticket. And let's face it, Americans Elect has definitely put together an organization that will allow them to have a candidate on the ballot in all 50 states. They're extremely well funded, probably more so than the Libertarian Party at this point. Do you think it's a possibility that if enough Paul supporters sign the petitions in each individual state to nominate him on the Americans Elect ticket, do you think he would even consider it if he didn't get the GOP nomination?
Well, all I know is he's been asked approximately 3,000 times if he's going to go third party, and every time he said no. By the way, none of the other candidates were ever asked if they would go third party, which is interesting. That's a side point. But look, I don't know if he's going to go third party or not. If he goes third party, maybe he'll pick Gary Johnson as his vice president, and whether they'll go with the Americans Elect or the Libertarian or both or what, I'm really not sure. But my read on him is that he's not going for Congress again. He's not going to be the congressman from Texas. And I understand that he will not go third party. My hope is that if he doesn't go third party, it'll be Ron Paul in 2016. Look, he'll be 80 then, but he's a very young 80. He's 76 now, and he's challenged all of his competitors to a bike race or to a running race. He's in much better shape than these young pups. Can you imagine him in a running race with Newt Gingrich? That's just silly.
That was probably one of his best lines in the debate season this year so far.
Which one was that?
Where he turned around and said that he would challenge any one of the GOP opponents standing on that stage with him to a 30-mile bike race.
Right.
In the afternoon heat of the Texas desert.
Right. I'd put my money on Ron because he goes for 25-mile bike rides every day. So he's in very good shape. And look, if he goes third party, I support him going third party, and maybe he'll pick Gary Johnson. If he doesn't go third party, whether it's Americans Elect or Libertarian or some other, I would support Gary Johnson. And I think I speak for many Libertarians who are Ron Paul supporters, that if Ron keeps running after Tampa, we support Ron, and if he doesn't, we support Gary.
A quick answer, yes or no, the best if you want to try to give me one. Romney, Obama, Romney wins or loses, yes or no?
Gosh, How's that for one word answer?
See, noticed how I said, you noticed how I asked you, I said wins or loses, yes or no?
Well, in the 2008 debate, I supported Obama over McCain because I thought McCain was going to nuke everyone, and I'm against nuking innocent people. And I tell you, if it was Romney versus Obama, I would support Obama. Because I regard
You're serious?
Yes, I regard foreign policy as much more important than economic or personal liberties policies, because that's mass murder.
Okay,
And-
let me.
and Sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry for cutting you off because we're almost done with this hour, and I have to get this question in after you said that.
Sure.
So I'm confused because isn't it Obama that has used drones to kill innocent people, women, children? Not only that, he's murdered 2 American citizens with absolutely no due process other than him and his Justice Department saying that they were worthy of the death penalty by drone.
Obama is pure evil. But the question is, there's a joke. One economist asks the other economist, how's he right? The answer is, compared to what? Well,
Yeah.
Obama is evil. He's an evil socialist, but I think that Romney is an evil fascist, and I think, given that he's got no spine and he's a weather vane, and he's livid with China, I think he's going to take on China and try to nuke China. And he's talking about nuking everybody, Iran, whatever. At least Obama's a little bit more moderate in his bloodlust. It's true, he's bloodlusty, but he's a horrible person. He's a murderer. But I think that Romney would be worse. But this is my own opinion, and I really can't speak for the whole movement, but certainly that's my opinion. I favored.
Well, no, I truly appreciate the fact that you were honest and said that, and I will tell you why. I think there's quite a few people out there. In all honesty, I think there's a large number of Paul supporters. There's a large number of just simply anything but Romney that truly will swing Obama if it becomes a contest between Romney and Obama. And I've said this since last summer, that if it comes between Romney and Obama, my personal opinion is Obama will be reelected, and he will probably be reelected by a bigger landslide than we've seen an incumbent reelected in quite some time.
And I would just add that if Ron Paul gets the nomination, it'll be a landslide the other way. Ron Paul will clean his clock.
Well, yeah, I agree with you there, and I believe that because I do believe that Dr. Paul would pull more of the independents, would pull more of the Blue Dog Democrats away from the Obama camp. I think Obama does right now still have some serious problems with some of his base, but if you put Romney and Obama up against each other, I think that Romney will, in fact, excite and motivate the base that Obama is having a lackluster time in getting excited right now. I mean, look, the bottom line is we're in trouble. It's been made clear that the media and the establishment does not want to listen to or hear or allow solutions such as Dr. Paul's to be adequately expressed and heard. So, we kind of.
Ron Paul is a Taft Republican. He's trying to get He's trying to save the Republican Party. He's trying to get it back to its Taft and Goldwater roots. He's a Taft Republican, and Taft was a relative libertarian, not as consistent as Ron Paul. These people like Sean Hannity and Rush Limbaugh and these other evil fascists, they're just horrible. I mean, if they saw Taft, they'd probably punch him in the nose or something. I think that Ron Paul is getting back to the Republican roots. There was that time in South Carolina when he said that we should use the golden rule, treat other people the way we want to be treated, and he was booed by these fascists. I mean, the Obama people are going to go for Ron Paul. A lot of these progressive intellectuals are saying, sure, he'd make grandma, get out on the street and pedal her rear end or something, but at least he stopped mass murder. And we regard stopping of mass murder as more important than Social Security. So if prudential progressives can take that position, I think Obama is toast if he has to face Ron Paul.
And I agree. I do believe that he would have definitely a more serious, difficult re-election bid if it was against Paul. I'm going to be a realist, as I've always been, and say that I just don't see the GOP allowing that to happen. I hate to say it, but I have to be honest with what I've seen to this point. And the fact is, I've seen Republicans turn and try to eat their own, so to speak, simply for expressing their opposition to Romney. So I definitely...
I hate to agree with you, but I do agree with you. It's probably not in the cards, but
right.
We're going to fight the good fight.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much. Again, people, if you want to learn more about Dr. Block, you can go to walterblock.com. Dr. Block, thank you for being a guest today, and great success to you in the libertarian movement.
Thanks for having me on your great show.
Thank you.
Bye.
And that's another edition to Through the Mirror with Larry Sinclair on the Rents Radio Network. Thank you for joining us. Stay tuned. Charlie McGrath, Wide Awake Radio. We will see you tomorrow with Amy Kramer, Tea Party Express Chairman. Good night, everybody.